tutor. My name is Marlene Education. I'm going to present my research speech in this context. I'm like to give some important ideas, some important aspects, the introduction, the objectives, the theoretical framework, the results, and the conclusion in a creative way. My research is called as Improving the Core English Skills in Online Environments, focused on interactive speaking sessions. Let's take into account that this is like the continuation about my last research, but in this case, I'm adapting this context to the online environments, right? Um, let's start first about how is this research in context. First, let's go to the introduction, and in this way, you're going to see clearly how is the research about. Online education in this context has significantly transformed language learning, offering new tools to develop the four English skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Despite these advances, speaking remains the most difficult skills to improve in virtual settings due to limited interaction in real-time feedback. This research, right, addresses the problem of how effective promote speaking in online environments. What is the thing here? So through great tools, we can in this context have a great advance in the four skills in language. The first thing that I'm going to focus here is that I was working with B1 level learners. That means the approach that I used in this research was with practical methods and researches that help the students to speak more fluently and confidently. Okay, in this case, we got the problem, the objective, and the methodology that was used in this research. First part, let's see. Okay, we got here what was the problem that I could find in this research and in these speaking sessions. The first one is the speaking is the hardest skill to improve online. Lack of real-time interaction and feedback. Why? Because most of the time people used to be shy at the moment to express. What was my main goal here? Try to find real strategies to feel confident my students in this context. The objective here was identify effective tools and strategy to communicate approach. Number three, English skills. Number four, maybe digital tools like Zoom and Flick, Google Docs are very useful to this kind of goals. But in this context, the tools that were used were Wordle, Google Docs, and Nearpod. Nearpod maybe for approach the interaction to make a great warm up. That was exactly the context I wanted during this research and during the speaking sessions. Okay, what was the thing? The methodology about qualitative research. Literature review, teaching practice focus on B1 level. Then we got here the methodology foundation. Okay, taking into account that in this research, the qualitative design was focused, the most important here was focus on descriptive analysis. And in this case, we're taking into account that um, that can feel were so useful. The objective key here is explore strategies to enhance the online interactive speaking. That's why it's so important how you are going to speak to your students in this context. Because if you are only a teacher that is only maybe the master or maybe the professor, you are not going to find the real interaction with your students, and your students are going to feel shy, and they are not going to feel comfortable at the moment to express something, at the moment to communicate something. And the most important here is the speaking fluency. If you are able to connect with your students and your students are capable to express, you are a great teacher. How was the data collection in this context? Okay, here the most important here was the articles, for example, the teaching platforms and the case studies. Here, one of the instruments that were real useful was the literature review metrics, but adapt to a field camp diary. Okay, with the students, one thing that I could appreciate was when they started to see the great strategies that were implemented on the speaking sessions, they could realize that they could expand the vocabulary, they could feel confident. And at the end of every single speaking session, the question was, how did you feel? There's anything that you would like to share with the people maybe in this space? That was a key to break the ice and start to make a great environment of speaking, right? What was the results we could find here? Okay, taking into account that we are focused on expand and develop the speaking in this context, we are going to share what was the results that we could achieve in this. Number one, tools like Wordwall and Google Docs, Nearpod enhance online interaction. Number two, students, let's expand this thing here. Okay, tools like Wordwall and Google Docs, Nearpod enhance online interaction. Number two, students improve their fluency, confidence, and participation in speaking sessions and also in speaking activities. For example, when we were working with activities like, and let's start with a speaking forum, the students started to work each other to maybe write on the chat. They were also working on their writing at the same time. They were okay. I'm listening to the direction. I'm writing the thing. Maybe in some occasion they could read their contributions, and that is also a way to improve the reading in that context, because sometimes the students could read the contribution from other students, and that was a collaborative tool such as Google Docs support shared writers and teamwork. Another thing was dynamic activities using platforms like Word will increase motivation and engagement. For example, with games in this case that were used was a great strategy, because they felt relaxed at the moment maybe to express an opinion, express an idea, and also answer any question. Another thing was interactive sessions also benefit writing and listening skills. What are the conclusions in this context? Okay. Number one, conclusion number one. It is possible to improve speaking skills in online environment with well-designed interactive strategies. Number two, digital tools enhance learning but must be integrated with clear communicative goals and guided support. That is why it's so important that when you are with a new group and when you are a teacher that maybe know a lot your group, you are going to see the results with the pass of time because you are going to maybe identify what are the necessity, what are the likes of your group, and you are going to say, okay, I can adapt this topic, I can do this activity, taking into account some of my students like this thing. Okay. Number three, in this case, communicate approach and real life speaking task foster meaningful interaction and language development. For example, in this research was really important to adapt the topics, to adapt the teaching things to real example lives. It's not just about maybe if you do or put a conversation as a practicing with your students or something like that, but when you say, okay, tell me at least three things that maybe happen in your life. For example, in some of the speaking sessions, one topic was about the happiest day in your life. One activity that was very successful was about think about, okay, do a brainstorm. Think about the what are the most important things that have happened in your life, for example. And the students start to flow, start to flow in this context and start to speak and speak and speak and speak because they maybe connect with real life in this context and they could identify what were that facts that maybe happened in their lives and they could put into in practice in the class. Right here, teacher presence, that was exactly that I was talking about before. Teaching presence, active participation, and contents feedback are essentials for successful in virtual learning. It's so important that you as a teacher all the time give a feedback, but remember also how you are going to do that feedback. It's not only like, okay, that was so great. Okay, you can maybe correct a mistake, for example, and you can say, okay, you mentioned about this context, you can do your feedback in a positive way. And the number 5 is online classes can effectively support the development of all four language when properly structured. How is this thing? For example, when you got a great process and you got a great class, you are going to realize your students maybe don't feel the time, maybe they don't realize about they are just like in a class, but they are in a great environment when they are improving their foreign skills, and it's just like a talking session that is exactly the context of this research. Improve your four skills and in this context through a great environment. Thank you so much.